The days are growing shorter, the crisp autumn breeze fills the night's air, leaves drift down from trees, and cooler temperatures remind us that the seasons are changing. But one thing remains constant, this epic comic book channel. Get ready to dive into brand new fictional locations, meet incredible characters, and so much more. The weather may change, but our stories never stop. Welcome to Short Story Universe Audio. Thanks for clicking on my video, Spirit In. You can never leave. To fully enjoy this video, please ensure CC Closed Captions is turned on. Reminder: the characters, events, locations, etc. in the following story are fictional and set within the short story universe. By the way, there's an AI podcast conjured by NotebookLM after the story. So, grab a snack, sit back, and enjoy Spirit In. You can never leave. In the eerie, fog-drenched city of Spirit Valley, a group known as the Twisted Thrill Seekers, Chris, Tyler, Jess, and Laura, are on a spooky hotel road trip, driving through the winding mountain roads. As night falls, the air grows cold, and an unsettling fake fog rolls in, making it hard to see. "I swear, I can't see a thing," said Laura as she gripped the wheel tightly, squinting through the thick fog as it swallowed the winding mountain roads. "We're almost there," said Chris from the passenger seat, his excitement barely hidden. Suddenly, a flickering light broke through the haze, revealing the towering silhouette of Spirit Inn. "Look! It's the hotel," said Jess as she leaned forward from the back seat, her voice excited. As they pulled up to the Gothic structure, the group exchanged excited glances. The building felt oddly untouched by time, like a relic from another era. Inside, they were greeted by two unsettling figures, Mr. Grin, a skeletal man with hollow eyes, and Miss Shady, a pale woman with a permanent smile. "Welcome, welcome. Rooms for the night?" Mr. Grin's voice was almost too welcoming. "Is it just me, or does he look like he hasn't slept in years?" Chris whispered under his breath. They quickly checked in. "What in the Illuminati heck is all this?" said Tyler as he glanced around the lobby walls, covered in disturbing murals of robed figures encircling strange symbols. "Let's just take our luggage to our rooms. Then we can come back and record all the strange murals," said Jess. "I can't take my eyes off," said Tyler as he glanced over the murals. As Chris, Jess, and Laura quickly made their way down the hallway, they noticed other guests. An elderly woman in a black turtleneck strolled down the hallway past them, her eyes curious and calculating. Further down, a short leprechaun with a wicked grin stands in the doorway, watching. Plus, a mural of a demon with glowing red eyes on the wall caught Chris's attention. "This place is totally twisted," said Chris with a smirk on his face. Once inside his room, Chris tripped over a throw rug. Curious, he yanked it aside and found a trapdoor beneath it. His curiosity got the better of him, and against his better judgment, he opened it. The stairs led to a dark, hellish chamber. "This can't be real," he muttered, heart pounding. Suddenly, low growls echoed around him. Panicked, he fled, racing down the chamber and up another set of stairs that led to the rooftop. As Chris pondered how he'd reached the rooftop, a blinding light engulfed him, and he was beamed up into the sky by an alien spacecraft, vanishing without a trace. Meanwhile, Tyler, still in the lobby area, studying the murals, brushed his hand across the murals and unknowingly unlocked another hidden chamber, where a large Illuminati-style symbol marked the floor. The moment Tyler stepped into the symbol, his body dissolved into mist and Tyler was gone. Jess, playfully putting her luggage away in the closet, found a secret door. Behind it lay a massive chamber with people dressed in long red robes, smiling eerily. The people bowed to Jess as she entered the chamber. The young lady known as Jess was also known as Odessa. "Where's Laura?" asked Miss Shady. "In her hotel room," said Odessa. "Allow me to start the ball rolling, this time," said Mr. Grin. In her room, Laura enjoyed the compliment gift basket. A knock at the door startled her. Mr. Grin stood there, offering her a glass of wine. "Compliments of the house," he said, his smile never faltering. Hesitantly, she took the glass and sipped. Moments later, her television flickered on, showing horrifying footage of her friends. Chris beamed up to the sky into an alien spacecraft. Tyler, disintegrating into mist. Jess is trapped in a petrified chamber. Laura's breath quickened. "I didn't join for this," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. Laura grabbed her car keys, climbed out the window, and bolted to her car, the fog outside now thicker, almost suffocating. As she sped down the road, a man from the hotel emerged, chasing her. His voice echoed through the fog, taunting her. "Laura, come back." Her car sputtered and ran out of gas just as she spotted a police car. Frantically, she waved it down. "Please, help me. My friends. Spirit in. It's a trap." The officer eyed her skeptically as she rambled about the horrors she'd witnessed, but eventually agreed to drive her back. When they arrived, a maintenance person said Spirit Inn was closed due to massive AI upgrades. Laura turned to the officer, her voice trembling. "It wasn't like this. It was real." The officer shook his head, pulling out a ticket. "Ma'am, I can smell the strawberry wine on your breath. A night in jail will sober you up." Shocked and terrified, Laura spent the night in a cold jail cell. When Laura awoke, Mr. Grin and Miss Shady stood over her. "You can check out anytime you like," said Mr. Grin. "But you can never leave," said Miss Shady. Laura's scream echoed throughout the entire police station. Lastly, the twisted thrill seekers were reported as missing. Now that's a twisted story, to be continued. Hey, remember that podcast I mentioned at the opening of this video? It's coming up next. AI technology is just mind-blowing. Wait till you hear the two AI podcasters. They sound so professional and funny as they deep dive into my story Spirit Inn, You Can Never Leave. Enjoy.
Spirit Inn? Okay, that name alone kind of sends chills down my spine.
Yeah.
And with Halloween right around the corner, you know I'm ready for a good haunted hotel story.
Of course.
This one feel like a listener suggestion, or did we stumble onto something special for this deep dive?
Let's just say the source material is, well, it's as mysterious as the inn itself.
Ooh.
Not a lot to go on, backstory-wise, but honestly, that just makes it even more intriguing, don't you think?
Oh, for sure. Sometimes the less you know going in, the better. What you guessing? So what kind of haunting are we dealing with here? Standard issue ghosts or something a bit more creative?
Okay, so picture this. A group of friends, road trip, they stumble across this creepy old building, shrouded in fog. You know, all the makings of your classic haunted hotel tale, right? But even from the first page, something feels deliberately off.
See, that's what I'm talking about. There's always that one detail that makes you go, wait a minute. What is it in this case?
The fog. It's described as fake, almost staged, not your typical spooky weather rolling in, if you know what I mean.
Okay, yeah, most stories just go with the natural creepy fog. So what are we talking, like a fog machine out back? Who's controlling the ambiance here?
That's the question, isn't it?
Right.
And that's where the manipulation comes in. Someone or something wanted these thrill seekers lost, disoriented, arriving late at night, primed for whatever awaits them.
Oh.
Think about it. Isolating your victims, making them doubt their senses. It's a tactic as old as time. Haunted attractions use it all the time to enhance the fear, but, and this is the creepy part, it's often the first step for those who seek to control and manipulate in the real world too.
Yeah.
Cults, abusers. It's chilling how often it starts with someone cutting you off, making you feel like you can't trust your own judgment.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Now getting chills down my spine. It's like setting that perfect atmosphere of unease before they even step foot inside. And speaking of setting the stage, when they do get to the end, who's there to greet them?
Oh, just your typical innkeepers.
Okay.
If, by typical, you mean a skeletal Mr. Grin with these hollow eyes that seem to follow you, and a perpetually pale Miss Shady with this permanent smile plastered on her face like a porcelain doll.
Get out. Even the names are straight out of a horror movie marathon.
I know, right?
Mr. Grin.
It's almost comically on the nose. But here's the thing. What if that's deliberate?
Oh.
What if we're being misdirected? I mean, while we're chuckling at Mr. Grin, are we missing subtler, creepier details lurking beneath the surface?
Oh, I like where you're going with this. It's like that classic magician's trick. big, flashy distractions to keep your eyes occupied. And meanwhile, something truly unsettling is happening right under our noses. So they're walking into this inn, on edge, fake fog swirling around them, greeted by Mr. Grin and Miss Shady.
Yeah.
What happens next? Do they just turn right back around and run for the car while they still can? So they're inside now. The vibe is thick enough to cut with a knife, I bet.
Yeah.
What tips the scales from unsettling to downright terrifying? Does the haunting build slowly, or is it bam, instant nightmare fuel?
It's like someone hit the fast forward button on the scary stuff, Almost as if the story itself is mirroring that growing panic these friends would be feeling. Right?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like one detail that really stuck with me was Tyler's reaction to the murals. Remember he says something like, "What in the Illuminati heck is all this?"
Right. It's almost jarring hearing that. It's such a modern slang, and it's in this otherwise gothic, old school horror vibe.
Exactly. It feels too specific, almost like foreshadowing, don't you think?
Ooh, okay.
But even more interesting than that weird comment are the murals themselves, the way they're described.
What about them? They're just spooky pictures on the wall, right?
Well, the story mentions disturbing figures, strange symbols, but it never actually tells us what they're doing, what they mean. That vagueness, that lack of concrete detail, it gets under your skin.
Yeah, I totally glossed over that.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's like the writer wants us to fill in the blanks with our own worst fears.
Precisely. It's like these murals aren't just generic haunted house decor,
Yeah.
It's implied they're tailored. Imagine each one designed to exploit the deepest fears of the person looking at it. No two the same, each more unsettling than the last.
Okay, now that's some next level psychological horror, I gotta say. We're talking custom-made nightmares here.
Yeah.
This isn't just a ghost dragging you to the basement. It's like it knows what scares you most, and it's putting it right there in front of you.
And if we tie that back to the manipulation we were discussing earlier, that, in the staged fog, isolating them in the inn late at night, it paints a pretty chilling picture, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This isn't just about scaring these people. It's about breaking them down, stripping away their sense of security, making them doubt what they see, what they feel. It's textbook psychological manipulation.
Okay, I am officially creeped out now. So with that in mind, does anyone actually fall victim to these personalized nightmares?
Oh, absolutely. And the story wastes no time. It's like a string of disappearances, each more bizarre than the last.
All right, hit me with it. Who's first to go?
Chris is the first one to disappear. He finds this trapdoor in his room, classic haunted hotel trope, which somehow leads him to the roof. He sees a bright light, and then, poof, gone. Vanishes without a trace.
Talk about checking out early.
And it doesn't stop there. So Tyler, drawn in by, those murals we were just talking about, he stumbles upon this hidden chamber, right? Marked with this strange symbol. And, yep, you guessed it, gone. Vanishes into thin air.
Okay, at this point I'd be running for the hills, or at least frantically searching for the nearest exit sign.
But they're trapped, remember. This place, this spirit inn, it has a hold on them, and then there's Jess.
Don't tell me she disappears too.
She does, but her disappearance is different. She finds a secret door, and it leads to this room full of people in red robes, and they seem to know her. They call her Odessa.
Whoa, hold up. This is going from 0 to 60 real quick. Robes, secret names. It's giving major cult vibes.
Right. And think about it. We were just talking about those real-world manipulation tactics. Cults, they thrive on replacing your identity. Making you dependent on the group, the leader.
Right.
It's like they're stripping Jess of everything she knows, prepping her for something else.
Spirit Inn is starting to sound less like a haunted house and more like an initiation or something. But what about Laura? She's the last one left, right? Does she make it out? So Laura's alone now in this increasingly creepy, messed up inn. But does she even know her friends are gone? It's not like they were dragged off kicking and screaming or anything. They just vanished.
And that's where this story, it takes, honestly, its most unsettling turn yet. See, Laura's ordeal, it isn't about her being lured away like the others know. She's shown what happened to them.
Right, like some kind of messed up, personalized horror movie marathon. Just for her. Exactly.
But why, though? If the goal was to make her disappear too, why go through the trouble?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Hmm.
There are a couple ways we can unpack this, I think. On the one hand, maybe Laura's different somehow. More resistant to whatever control the inn or something within it has over the others. This could be the way to break her, to wear down her defenses before the big reveal, whatever that might be.
So it's like she's the chosen one, but not in a a good way. More like the inn needs something from her and showing her these terrifying fates. That's how it gets what it wants.
Or here's another thought. Maybe it's not about Laura at all.
Okay.
Maybe it's about us. Remember, we're being manipulated by this story too, even just reading it.
Oh, that's true.
And what's more effective, even terrifying, than showing the reader that even if you escape, which Laura does, you still lose. Oh, wow, yeah.
Your friends are gone, your grasp on reality is shattered. There's no winning, you see, only varying degrees of terrifying.
You're blowing my mind right now.
And that ending, Laura's escape, that whole car chase, even the police officer, it all just blurs together.
Right. Was any of it even real? Or was it just that drugged wine Mr. Grin gave her?
That ambiguity, that lingering doubt. That's the masterstroke of this story, you ask me. We're left to fill in the blanks. The story plants these seeds of unease, of distrust, and then it lets them grow in our minds long after we've finished reading.
Oh.
We're left questioning what's real, what's not, and which is scarier. Those are the questions that stay with you.
And the police officer finding her at the very end, it almost feels like he's in on it too.
Yeah.
You know, that the whole town, the whole world outside the inn could be a part of this whole thing.
Exactly. It throws the entire reality of the story into question. Suddenly, escape isn't escaping at all, is it? It's chilling. Incredibly effective storytelling, in my opinion.
This whole deep dive has me, like, seriously creeped out. You mentioned earlier that this story, it might be part of something bigger, this Twisted Thrill Seekers thing. Is there more to it? Don't leave me hanging.
That, unfortunately, remains a mystery. But maybe that's the point. The story, whether it's a standalone tale or a piece of a larger puzzle, it's achieved something quite remarkable. It's unsettled us, it's made us question our perceptions, and maybe even confront a few of our own fears along the way.
No, for sure.
What details stuck with you? What resonated with those deeper, darker parts of our imaginations?
You know what? I might need a minute to process all that first. This one's definitely going to linger in my thoughts for a while.
And for all of you listening, here's something to ponder. If you found yourself trapped within the walls of the Spirit Inn, what terrifying image would be staring back at you from that personalized mural? What hidden fear would it exploit? Sweet dreams, everyone.
If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and comment below with your thoughts. Share this story with your friends, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more twisted adventures. Hit the bell notification so you never miss an update. There's always more epic comic book stories coming soon to this channel. Thanks for watching.